Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Live Enlightened and Free, the channel for cosmic and esoteric insights, as well as Live Enlightened and Free, the beautiful mindful living store in Carlsbad, Bretty Ranch area, which is full of wondrous things that you could find, from crystals to books to tarot cards to oracle cards, jewelry, and all sorts of wondrous things that will definitely sparkle your imagination and your mind. Today I wanted to share with you what we're heading into. So on October 13th, we'll be heading into Mercury Retrograde. In fact, we're actually in the pre-shadow period. And today, while I'm recording this, we're starting the most intense part of Mercury Retrograde. When people hear Mercury Retrograde, most people get kind of like, anxious about what's going on. Mercury rules the place of mind and technology, and even like short travel as well, and communication. So if you've been noticing people are forgetting to communicate back to you, you've sent a text and it takes them like 5 weeks before they actually respond, that's this Mercury Retrograde. Or if you've been noticing that small appliances are acting kind of strange or weird, or doing things like you have to switch your phone on and off a couple of times in order for it to work, or something just seems like it's lagging, or just out of the blue breaks, that's Mercury Retrograde. Or if you've got plans and you want to travel somewhere and the plans get delayed or something happens that way, they say when you travel, make sure you give yourself extra time, at least an hour to 45 minutes extra time, because these things can happen during Mercury Retrograde. And Mercury rules the mind, so it's all about also how we're thinking. What I've been noticing is that people have been a lot more in their negative mind, in these thoughts that or old patterns of things that we keep thinking about that reoccur and bring us down, almost kind of a negative depression that we're bringing ourselves in. So during this time of Mercury Retrograde, it's very important to be mindful of what you're thinking about, because also remember, this piece is so important. Energy flows where the mind goes. So if you are thinking about something that you don't want in your life, energetically you could attract it into your life too. So it's a very important time to be very mindful of how you're thinking. When a planet goes into retrograde, they say it's actually passing closer to the earth, so its energy is felt more intensely. So during this period of time, it's a good time to slow down. From our perspective, it looks like the planet is going backwards, and we actually chart it astrologically going backwards in the chart, so it will revisit degrees in the chart, the zodiac chart that we've already visited. So there'll be parts that you'll be re-looking at. And so this is a great period. It's about 3 weeks or so, that the most intense period where Mercury is in this retrograding phase. Even though there's a build up to it and a post-shadow period too, this in-between period is the most intense. And Mercury is moving into a place of Scorpio, this watery place. It's to do with deep-seated emotions. So see how you can revisit these things that you've visited before, maybe bypassed over, and I can go really deeply into it and help you to transmute the energies that you're dealing with, really. So one of the things I wanted to share with you too, as we go into Mercury Retrograde, is ways that you can help yourself out. So now if you have a computer or appliance or something that's acting up, what I've typically found, and I'm sharing with you my personal experiences, and I've been studying crystals for a really, really long time, a couple of decades in fact, is that quartz crystal and citrine crystal placed on an apparatus or on a piece of equipment or your computer. Literally, I've done this too with my Mac computer, placed crystals all around it, and some marvelous and miraculous way it actually helped the computer. So that's what you can do with your technical or electrical things. The other thing too, just a little piece of advice, is if you're planning on buying electronic item, especially like a computer or like a smartphone or anything like that, or like even like your refrigerator, is maybe delay the purchase. Rather purchase this outside of the Mercury retrograde phase, because they say, and I'm just sharing with you what people say, but I tend to not purchase anything that's electronical, that's a word, through this Mercury retrograde phase. So be mindful of that, so that if you have something that's acting up, some quartz crystals, citrine crystals that you can get actually at Leaf, that you can place on or around your apparatus or whatever it is that you're working with. The other thing is so important for you because this Mercury affects our mind, and we're so much in this head space. And I've been teaching this thing like mind care, like how do we take care of our thoughts? So this one piece, this idea about if you find a thought that's reoccurring and it's a pattern and it's a pain in your life, in your mind, is to stop that thought immediately. And then if you can, see if you can find something else to focus your attention on. Maybe sometimes it's just a word, like choose yourself a safe word, something like peace. Peace is a great word, like peace of mind, peace of being. Peace is all around me. Like you can make your own mantra. Some people actually, in fact, like to use mantra as a way of distracting themselves from what it is. And the mantra itself, depending on what the mantra is, it can be in English, it could be in a yogic mantra. For yoga, Buddhi or Bud is actually for the mind, which is Mercury. So you could even say a mantra, Om Bum Buddhaye Namaha, is actually a mantra for Mercury. Om Bum Buddhaye Namaha. I'll write it in the comments below too, so that if you're interested in that, you can at least try and pronounce that yourself. That's one way of distracting your mind. The other way is crystals, of course. I already mentioned crystals for the computer, but crystals for you. So because the energy is up in the head, the mind, we tend to become ungrounded. We forget that we're actually living here on the earth and not in this mind noosphere. So crystals that you can use, what's been coming up for me to use is actually hematite. And I actually have hematite right here. I've actually got it in Kuan Yin, you can see her. And so hematite is like, they actually has like a red color. If you break it down, you can actually use it as like for color or for makeup or anything like that. It actually purifies the blood too. But I've been feeling hematite, it keeps us a lot more grounded and purifies the body as well. It purifies the blood, so it allows that energy, what's inside of us, to drain out of ourselves too. The other thing you can use is like black kyanite. And I've read somewhere where you can actually use it to cut these thought forms out of the mind. So if you feel like you're thinking too much, some people like to do this actually. It's kind of like a blade form. It grows like in this flower form, if you will. You can kind of use it as a blade to cut through these cords in the mind. And actually when I do that, I can feel this energetically, like the things that are in my head being cut away. So you can actually mindfully asking the kyanite to help you cut away these cords in the mind, especially patterns when we're thinking about other things or issues or even other people. We can just cut that out. The other pieces that I like is obsidian. He has a snowflake obsidian. It's really pretty with the white dots in it. He has like a whole piece of obsidian, like the black obsidian. Just something like that you can carry, or like even jet. I have a piece of jet. You can carry something like this in your pocket. So this is going to help you stay grounded. If you're traveling anywhere, give yourself extra time. Like I said before, that is what's needed. Try not also sign any contracts as well during this period too. This is an important piece. Like if you wanted to start a new project, maybe take your time to review. It's about a 3-week period. If you can maybe delay signing of the contracts and review everything. If you've received a contract, make sure you reread, that's that RE, reread everything. It's a time for revision, reinvigoration, reviewing everything that you're doing, rejuvenating what you're doing too. But it's a time for slowing down. Some people want to like huddle away and hide away, and that's totally fine, and you could possibly do that. But unfortunately, the world's still going to be rotating. So you need to be participating in this rotation of the world too. So take your time, no rushing into things, but give yourself more time to review everything that you're doing. So just for today, I'm going to pull us a card. I don't think like a hematite or something is going to come up, but if it did, that'll be amazing. But I'm going to pull from this crystal deck and see what guidance wishes to share with us today as we head into this Mercury retrograde, and what is the symbolism or the message that can be shared with us to help us move gracefully through Mercury retrograde. So if you wish to, you can take a deep breath with me. And we're calling guidance to guide us through this Mercury retrograde. This one is Scorpio, so what's coming up that we need to really, truly, deeply transmute inside of us. And turquoise, wholeness. about finding our wholeness. And what I like about this card too, actually, it's got this darkness around it, so it feels like this needing to ground ourselves. Turquoise also helps us move into this dream state. It's like we're moving through something in order for us to be rebirthed. It's like coming back, bringing all the pieces back so that we can be rebirthed. It also kind of reminds me of a cell in your body too, and all the facets that make up our body too, all these different pieces. It also has this piece that reminds me of the dragonfly on this card, the way those little crystals are formed. Like the dragonfly wing has all these windows to it too, and we're made up of so many different windows. So as we go through this Mercury retrograde, how can we review ourselves? How can we make ourselves once more feel whole? Maybe this Mercury retrograde is a little mini vacation or holiday for us to really step out of the rut of what we've been doing for the last couple of months and change it up a little. See how we wish to change up the next flow of energy as it meets us with this idea of us standing into our wholeness. This wholeness is, in fact, and this is guidance coming through too, it's like the angels are speaking right now. It's like it's a doorway. It's helping us step through into our wholer self. We're here at the moment, we're holding ourselves. If we look at the astrology from a bigger, grander perspective, it's about holding oneself, coming into your holy, whole self. So hopefully that made some sense. Again, you can find all these crystals, these amazing, beautiful crystals, tourmaline, obsidian, jet, the hematite. You can find all of these crystals at Leaf. You can also look Leaf up online at liveenlightenedandfree.com. And then I am Belinda Pearl, and you can always find me at belindapearl.com. I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Namaste. May you have a beautiful day.